So let's kind of go through here a little bit, just kind of position by position on where Oklahoma's at. So feel free to answer or ask any questions that you have about a specific positional unit, and where where Oklahoma is from that perspective, and kind of where they're going. So I think probably at the quarterback position and the running back position, Oklahoma definitely at the quarterback position. I think Oklahoma's done. I don't think they're going to go. They're going to go any further than what they have. You got a five-star quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks. I think in the class, certainly Elite 11 winner overall. So I think he's going to be a guy that you kind of continue to build this class around. And then the running back position, fairly similar. I don't think there's not really anyone that I would see that Oklahoma really kind of goes after, outside of what they have, unless you see, some sort of a change of heart and a decommitment. So let's kind of look at the wide receiver area. I think Oklahoma is probably going to end up looking at a couple of guys from a wide receiver perspective, and then we'll go through offensive side. Then we'll take a break to kind of answer some questions, any thoughts that you guys have, and then we'll move back over to the defensive side of the ball. So I think, first and foremost, when you look at the wide receiver position, I think Anthony Evans is a guy that's kind of maybe trending a little bit Oklahoma's way. I think he's probably, from everything that I've heard, he's probably an August commitment guy. 4-star wide receiver from Converse, Texas, 5'11", 185. He was probably a little bit on the edge of a 3 to a 4-star. So he's a kid that has good length. I think he'll have an opportunity. Not specifically from a height perspective, but long arms. I think he's a guy that Oklahoma likes, and there's obviously mutual interest there. And I think probably lends towards that's Oklahoma's probably next. Would be surprised right now the way things are trending if he doesn't come to Oklahoma. And then you go to Mikael Harrison Pilot, another 4-star wide receiver out of Temple, Texas. Fairly similar in terms of the stature, 6 foot 190. He's a guy that Oklahoma's been in on. I think there's a little bit of thoughts, just from a 247 composite perspective, more of kind of an athlete ranking, but I think obviously he trends to the wide receiver position as well. So, and then another guy that Oklahoma's in on is Caden Lee, 3-star wide receiver from Kennesaw, Georgia. Again, as you can see with all of these 3 kids, with Evans, Harrison Pilot, and Lee, they've got 3 kids that are very similar, just in terms of stature, just in terms of what they bring to the table, all around that 5'11", 6 foot range, 175 to 190 area for Oklahoma. I think, like I said, I think Oklahoma maybe take a couple here, 1 or 2, kind of depending on what that looks like. And then the next kid is more of he's a little bit of a tweener. You can see him as being kind of a wide receiver, but his body may lend itself to becoming more of a tight end, more of a kind of a Mark Andrews, Calcaterra type of player. So 4-star guy. This is a guy that he's not going to announce his commitment until October. I think mid to late October. So I think this is a kid that just kind of looking to see how things go throughout the year. Obviously, this guy's a Lincoln, Nebraska kid, so those kids, even with the struggle that Nebraska has had over the last few years, just not as good. I think this Oklahoma-Nebraska game could be big. I'm not saying that game specifically is going to tell the tale, so to speak, in terms of if Oklahoma will get his services or not. But I think the longer this goes, I think Oklahoma has a pretty good shot with him. Number 7 overall athlete in the country, 6'5", 190, has incredible height. So that's one to watch out for. Obviously, something that's going to linger a little bit into the season. Not anything, in terms of a recent, or in terms of something that's going to happen here pretty soon. But I think certainly something to keep your eye on for Oklahoma, and certainly that battle between Oklahoma and Nebraska, which is what it looks like right now. And then the other tight end, I think Oklahoma's probably looking at one of these guys. So a combination, probably 3 or 4 wide receiver tight ends, and you got 5 or 6 targets here. So you've got Jackson McGowan, who's actually a commitment from at the University of Cincinnati right now. So Oklahoma's still working on him, getting in there, trying to get that flip. 3-star tight end from Miamisburg, Ohio, number 35 tight end, ranked in a 247 composite. Really, really good size that you like. 6'4", 208. Probably could add some pounds to that frame where he's at, but you got to like that size. And then you look the last kind of area on the offensive line. Oklahoma's pretty set. There's maybe, I think, one at the most, one additional guy that Oklahoma could potentially get, and this one's Samson Okinawa. So he's one of the best offensive linemen in the nation. One of the best targets still on the board here, certainly for Oklahoma. Number 3 tackle in the country, number 16 overall, top 20 kid. He's a guy that is probably that might be trending a little bit towards maybe in Miami right now, but I think he's also a guy that Oklahoma's in on, and certainly, if that interest is mutual, a guy that Oklahoma will obviously take a look at as well.